let's get started. So I wanted to start this morning. I was just saying I did a workshop someone's coming. I did a workshop last Sunday with an online studio up in London, and one of the teachers started her section with this lovely poem by Mary Oliver, and I probably came away from the workshop and Googled it and found it because it was so lovely. And I just want to read you the first couple of lines and talk about those just for a moment, because it kind of sets a tone for our practice. So this poem is called Mindful. So every day I see or hear something that more or less kills me with delight. And I loved that line. It's absolutely beautiful. And I was thinking about that this morning, thinking about our practice. And I was thinking about yesterday, and I thought, what did I see or hear that more or less killed me with delight? So just before we start our practice, I'm going to ask you to do the same. But a couple of things that sprung to mind. So the first one was an incredibly cute baby whippet I saw when I was buying my husband a treat, an oat milk latte. Very enthusiastic greeting from this beautiful little puppy. And then my husband's face when I gave him his oat milk latte, I really must make a note to do that more often, because he was very surprised and grateful for that. And then the thing that really tickled me was when I was out for a walk, seeing a dog walker who had a tiny dachshund on a lead with tiny little legs, and was having to run so fast to keep up with his owner. His ears had blown inside out, and that absolutely tickled me. It tickled me. So when we start our practice today, I just want you to kind of call to mind something you saw, you've heard, maybe you've read, that have done the same for you, that have more or less killed you with delight. And on that note, I still can't stop thinking about the little dachshund with the floppy inside out ears. I wanted to run over and turn them the right way out. Let's start lying down this morning, team. So coming down onto your back, bring your knees with you to give them a little squeeze. Let's just start off with a gentle rock from side to side. Yeah, it just seemed very undignified, this poor little dog walking around with his ears turned inside out. Have a little massage across the low back, maybe a little rock or a little circle. I think sometimes when we do a morning practice, our back might feel a little tight. You might have been doing a bit of gardening this last week as well. So when you've done any movement that feels that you've just released around the lowermost reaches of the spine, we'll let the feet just drop down to the floor. And yogi's choice this morning, I'm going to keep my knees bent, take my feet wide apart and just allow my knees to touch. But if your back feels okay and you want to stretch your legs out, heels in, the toes gently rolling out to the side, feel free. Want to pop a cushion, a blanket underneath your head, feel free. Maybe just lift your chest and snuggle your shoulder blades towards one another down the back, so you're creating a nice sense of space across the chest and a nice long neck, tucking the chin in ever so slightly to iron out those wrinkles at the back of the neck. You might want to lift your hips up, have a little wriggle, and make yourself nice and comfortable. Closing the eyes. So that lovely poem, every day I see or hear something that more or less kills me with delight, that leaves me like a needle in the haystack of light. It was what I was born for, to look, to listen, to lose myself inside this soft world, to instruct myself over and over in joy and acclamation. Nor am I talking about the exceptional, the fearful, the dreadful, the very extravagant, but of the ordinary, the common, the very drab, the daily presentations. So as we start our practice today, maybe call to mind something like I did, something ordinary. Hasn't got to be extravagant, but something you've seen, you've heard, felt, read, that has just filled you with that sense of delight and joy. We need to hang on to those moments, particularly during these difficult times. It might be, like me, a walk in nature and seeing the signs of spring around you, tender shoots, early spring flowers. Feeling, when you can, the sun that has a little bit of warmth in it now on your face. You might have been a conversation with a loved one or a friend this last week. A good book. A first delicious cup of coffee or tea in the morning. And just let that feeling, maybe try to recreate that feeling of joy and delight from that common everyday occurrence that for whatever reason filled you with that sense of joy and delight, and kind of let that suffuse your practice this morning. So as we begin our practice, connecting with that sense of delight, connecting with our breath on this Sunday morning, letting the week just gone just drift away with every exhale, letting go, letting go. All the frustrations and elations, just let them drift away. So they're not going to intrude upon your practice this morning, starting our practice with a clean slate, if you like. So allowing the breath to begin to settle into a really steady and easy pace, and somehow connecting with that pace of your breath throughout the practice. It might be matching your movement with each breath. It might be allowing the pace of your breath to set the pace of your practice. But seeing if you can retain that connection when we begin to move. So we'll start our nice Sunday morning stretch by doing just that. So if you've got your knees bent, let's extend one leg and then the other. And then we'll just float the arms all the way up and back. And if you're a little bit stuck for space, you can cactus the arms. If the shoulders feel tight today, you can take them out into a gentle V shape. And maybe have a little bit of exploration there, maybe a little bit of wiggling of the hips as you reach into one side of the body and then the other. Be turning your head slightly, just exploring that sensation of space and stretch available this morning. And then we'll come back to the center, pointing the toes, reaching the arms back. Take a nice breath in. As you breathe out, let's bring the right knee in towards your chest. You can hold behind the knee or in front of the knee, whatever feels comfortable, making sure that the neck stays long. So beginning to open up some space around the low back as you stretch the left heel away from you. Just take a little circle through the right foot there, moving into the ankle, warming up into the feet. So a few circles each way, keeping the toes moving. Lovely. And then when you're ready to inhale, let's come back to that full body stretch. Both arms, both legs reaching away from you. And then as you exhale, let's bring the left knee in, giving it a little squeeze. Again, making sure the neck stays long. And we'll do exactly the same. So stretching out through the right leg as you begin to bring some movement into that left ankle, left foot. A few circles one way and then the other. You might notice one side feels a little stiffer. Lovely. And then we'll move with the breath. So inhaling, taking the arms and legs out nice and long. And as you exhale, right knee comes into the chest. Give it a squeeze. Inhale into that full body stretch, keeping the palms nice and spread. And exhale, left knee coming in. Lovely. So just moving with the breath. Now you can keep your head and shoulders on the floor. Or as you exhale, you can bring your nose towards that incoming knee. Stretching out through the upper back. And then when you're ready to inhale, you lower the head and shoulders as you come into that full body stretch. So shoulders away from the ears if you're lifting your nose towards your knee. Chin tucked in. Let's do one more with the right knee coming in. Doesn't matter whether you're keeping your head on the floor, we're still getting that lovely stretch around the lower back and the left side. So last one on the left side, and we'll all meet in that full body stretch. So arms and legs extended when you've released that left leg. Lovely. And then keeping the head and shoulders on the floor this time, we'll bring the right knee in towards your chest, holding around the front or behind the knee, settling the shoulders down away from the ears. And then pointing the left foot, you're going to sweep that left leg all the way up towards the ceiling. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, lower that left leg until the heel just hovers off the floor, keeping that right knee squeezed in. Point the toe. Inhale, sweep the leg all the way up. And exhale, really kick that heel away from you. Lowering, lowering, lowering heel hovers. Just one more, inhale. And exhale, heel hovers. We're going to pause there, stretching that left leg out nice and long, right knee hugged in, and then drop that left leg to the floor. Heel connects to your yoga mat, left hand on your right knee, right arm, just let it drop to the side or bring it out level with the shoulder, and we'll take a little twist, taking that right leg, that right knee across the body. Mine doesn't touch the floor. I'm just getting a nice sense of rotation in the spine there, nice and gently. You might want to turn your head away from your knee. Lovely. And then slowly, slowly we'll roll back onto our backs, coming back to that full body stretch. Take an inhale. Head and shoulders stay down as you bring the left knee in this time. So settling there, giving that knee a nice squeeze in towards your chest as you point the right toes. And as you inhale, we'll sweep the right leg all the way up. And then exhale, good, strong, active foot as you kick the heel away from your heel hovers. Oh, I can feel my leg. Inhale. I've pulled a muscle in my thigh. Exhale as you lower, stretching it out. This will do it some good. Last one. Inhale, point the toe all the way up. Keep that left knee hugged in. And we'll pause now. Lower that leg slowly. Heel hovers. Really connect with your core. Flatten out through the low back. And then bring that right heel to the floor. Leg extended. Right hand to left knee, left arm, just fall alongside you or just bring it out level with the shoulder. And we'll bring that left leg across the body into a little twist. So my left shoulder blade's lifted a little bit. My left knee isn't touching the floor. I'm not kind of worried about that. I'm just enjoying a little bit of rotation through the back this morning. Lovely. And then rolling onto your back, keep the left knee where it is, and then slide that right heel in towards you and bring the right knee in towards the chest. We'll hook the ankles, widen your knees, and have a little massage across the low back and the tops of the buttocks as you take the knees round in a circle. As big or as small as suits your back. And then as you change direction with your knees, if you want to, you can always change the hook of your ankles, just for a sense of balance. So we're going to roll our way up to seated. So you can either roll to one side this morning and join us, or catching hold behind your knees. You might want to have a little playful rock up and down through the spine if that feels nice and space permitting. Until you rock yourself all the way up to seated. I can close the door now, me who's decided not to join us. So sitting cross-legged if that's available today. If not, stretch the legs out. You can always pop yourself up on a cushion. Lovely. So sitting up nice and tall. Let's plant the right hand down alongside you. And as you inhale, we'll sweep the left arm up. And as you exhale, we'll take a side stretch, but take your gaze down towards that right knee. So we're just taking the heat out of the neck. Inhale through center. Straight over to the other side as you exhale, looking down towards your left knee. Lovely. Inhale through center. Exhale. Let's hold coming over to the right, looking down towards your right knee. Option to stay there. Or tuck your chin in towards your armpit and take the gaze up towards the ceiling. And try and draw that top thumb back, palm is down, so we're getting a lovely sense of space through the side of the body. Lovely, not holding the breath there. And then on your next inhale, let's come all the way up, and then exhaling, looking down to the left knee as we take that side stretch to the other side. Reaching the arm alongside the ear, and then if you wish, we just take your chin towards your armpit. Draw the thumb back and really sit down a little bit more heavily into that right sit bone. Lovely. Reaching both arms up on an inhale. And as you exhale, let's circle the hands behind you so you can interlace them. Lovely. Just make sure that the body doesn't start to roll forward. So if that's a little bit too much, you can always rest your hands on your lower back there. And we'll try and loop the shoulders down the back, drawing the knuckles down towards the floor. And if it's available, you might start to take the arms a little further away from you, but just make sure you don't kind of lose the stretch there by pitching the body forward. So better to have the arms extending straight down and the chest open than taking the arms back and the body pitched forward. Lovely. You might lift your chin, you might take a little gaze up towards the ceiling there, take one more inhale. And as you exhale, just let go of the hands, bring them to the floor behind you so you can give the legs a little stretch, the knees a little bounce, and then we'll recross the legs the opposite way, the way that feels a little bit strange. Coming into a twist this time. Inhale, reach the arms up. And as you exhale, we'll take a twist to the right. So the left hand coming to your knee, your thigh, other hand settles behind you, and either taking the gaze just out to the side wall, or maybe you're looking over that back shoulder. Sitting up nice and tall. And then bring the head back to center and look over your opposite shoulder. We're keeping the body where it is. We're just moving into the neck. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to take the body in that direction over to the left. So we're coming over to the left. You can again take the gaze a little further back behind you. And then again, body stays where it is. We just bring the gaze back to center. And then if available, looking over right shoulder, take an inhale. Exhale, take that twist to the right. Left hand to left knee or thigh. Gently pressing the knee down, lifting up nice and tall through the spine. Last time, gaze to center, looking over left shoulder, take an inhale. Exhale, body follows the gaze. Twist to the left. Beautiful. Then coming back to center, inhale, sweep the arms up. And as you exhale once more, bring the hands behind you, either interlacing them again or bringing them to rest on your low back. Knuckles tug down towards the ground, lifting up through the chin, looping the shoulders away from the ears, maybe taking the arms a little further back if that's available on the shoulders. Lovely. Take one more nice deep inhale. And as you exhale, release the hands, give them a little shake. And then we'll find our way onto all fours. You can always roll over your ankles or just uncross your legs. And we'll find our way onto all fours. So hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips, spread the hands nice and wide there. And then we'll shift 50-60% of your body weight forward. So shift your weight forwards just slightly over your wrists. And we'll start to circle there. So keeping the hands really pressing into your mat now. Fingers spread nice and wide as we circle the body round. So just warming up through the wrists before we do any downward dogs or any weight bearing exercise. They're really good for the wrists. And then take that little movement around the opposite way. So we're stretching into the hands, pressing down into the finger pads, pressing down into the palms of the hands. Lovely. And then slowly, we'll find our way back to stillness. We've got our joints stacked, wrists, elbows and shoulders in alignment. And then keep pressing into your hands as you allow the belly to drop, the tailbone to lift, the chin to come forwards, but try not to throw the head too far back and wrinkle the neck, back of the neck. Take an inhale. And as you exhale like an angry cat, spread the shoulder blades left to right. Lovely. Inhale, dip the belly, heart comes forwards again, keeping the neck nice and long. Pressing into the hands so you don't disappear into the shoulders. Exhale to round. Just do a few more rounds like that with your breath again, letting your breath set the pace of your practice. Be faster or slower, but really enjoying that rippling sensation, opening up in the back of the body, stretching out through the front of the body. Oh, that feels nice. Keeping the hands pressing firmly into the mat. Beautiful. And then coming back to that nice tabletop or box position. And we'll tuck the toes under and just begin to shift your hips back towards your heels. We're not dipping the chest. We're not coming into a kind of conventional child pose. We're just warming up through the fascia of the feet, the muscles of the feet. So you might want to have a little sway of the hips from side to side. So if it's a little bit too much, just bring the weight forward so you're not got quite as much weight in the balls of the feet. But it's really good to wake up through the feet. So just see if you can hold there just for one or two more breaths, maybe with a little sway or just holding in stillness. And then coming to stillness, shift the weight forward slightly so you can flatten your feet to take an inhale. And as you exhale, now we'll come into a child pose, hips to heels. Just have a little swaying walk forwards with the hands, easing them forwards, coming to that full extension through the side body. Forehead might be on the floor, might be hovering. And just take a couple of breaths there into the back of the body, the sides of the body. Really enjoying that sensation. You might even feel your chest and your belly rising and lifting away from your thighs there. Lovely. And then we'll come back onto all fours. And we'll bring our elbows down to where your hands roughly were on the mat. So we've got our palms, our forearms parallel, flat to the floor. We'll walk the knees back and then just allow your forehead to sink down. So you might be straightening the arms a little bit as you send your bottom back, then a little variation of puppy pose. If this doesn't work for you, just come into a conventional child pose. But bottom nice and high, chest, forehead melting down. So a little bit tight on the shoulders there. Then again, just take a child pose. Seeing if we can hold there just for one more breath, opening up between the shoulder blades. And then we'll slide our way forwards to lie down on our tummies, settling your elbows underneath your shoulders, palms and forearms parallel, coming into Sphinx pose. You might want to pick up one leg and stretch it back and do the same with the other, opening up some space in the front of the hips. And then pressing down with your palms, pressing down into your forearms, and a little sensation of pulling the elbows back towards your outer ribs there. So you feel a nice engagement, nice and active there. Pointing the feet, pressing into the tops of the feet. And keep all of that going on as you just allow your chin to drop down towards your chest, stretching out through the back of the neck. And then have a little roll of the head, one ear to the shoulder, doesn't matter which way, and then rolling the chin back down to center, and then take it the other way. Little roll and stretch out through the neck. And then we'll come back to center, lifting the chin parallel to the floor. Lovely, take an inhale. And as you exhale, turn the head to look over your right shoulder and press into your left elbow a little bit more firmly. Inhale to center. Exhale, look over left shoulder and press into your right elbow a little bit more firmly. Let's do that one more each way. So trying to keep that lovely sense of space from your navel all the way up to the top of your throat. Trying to keep your chin more or less parallel to the floor as you take that little look. And then coming back to center as you inhale. And as you exhale, elbows come out to the side, lowering the chest, hands alongside the shoulders. We'll push our way back up to all fours, tucking the toes under. Send your bottom back towards your heels again, arms out nice and long. So again, we're in that nice stretch out through the feet. And let's see if we can use the power of your legs now. As you inhale, see if you can push your hips up and back into that downward dog. And then we'll start that little pedal out with the feet. So if you don't want to do downward dog today, you can stay on all fours and just continue with your cat-cow. You can have a child pose. If you're with me in the downward dog, just for the first few breaths, keeping it nice and light and playful. Just establishing a little bit of space in the back of the leg as you walk out the heels. And then coming to stillness, pop a little bend in the knees. So you're stretching your belly back towards your thighs, sending the hips up and back. You might even feel a little bit of extension through the sides of the body there. And then you might feel in a position to be able to straighten the legs a little bit more. Or if the hamstrings are super tight, keep a nice generous bend in the knees. Slowly take a nice generous breath in there. And as you exhale, just allow the heels to drop down. Finding that connection with the mat. Lovely. And then we'll shift the weight into your left foot. As you inhale, let's take the right leg all the way up and back and turn the toes out slightly for a little bit of hip opener. And as you exhale, we'll bring that knee to the chest and step that foot forwards, helping it out if it doesn't quite get there. And then we'll lower the back knee. You can keep the toes tucked, you can flatten the foot, whatever feels nice. And we're going to hook the thumb. So one thumb hooks over the other thumb. And imagine now you want to pull the thumbs apart, feel the upper back engaged. Keep that going on as you inhale, scoop the arms all the way up, coming into that lovely low lunge. And as you exhale, lower the arms, change the hook of the thumbs. Imagine you want to pull the thumbs apart. Inhale, scoop the arms up, so upper back working. And exhale, release. Lovely. Separate the hands. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up into that lunge. And this time as you exhale, hands come all the way back behind you, this time opening up through the chest. So again, we can interlace the hands and draw the knuckles down, or you can bring your hands onto your lower back there, whatever feels nice. And again, as you begin maybe to lift the chin away from the chest, looking up towards the ceiling, the arms might come away from the low back, getting that lovely stretch across the chest. Let's take one more nice deep breath here. And as you exhale, release the hands and we'll bring them down to frame that front foot. Option to keep the back knee down or lifting that back knee. We'll take that right arm all the way up towards the ceiling. So you're turning towards that front knee. Beautiful. Now this top arm, this right arm, we're going to relax all the way back and down and then sweep forwards and up. Inhale. Exhale, big circle back and down. If you've got that back knee lifted, leg nice and strong, heel stretched away. One more circle, inhaling up. This time as you exhale, we'll bring that hand all the way down, framing the foot. And then we'll take that right leg back to plank. Keep looking towards the top of the mat. Press into the hands. Imagine you want to slightly dome your upper back. Lovely. And then we'll lower down onto the knees, flatten the feet, take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's lower all the way down onto the belly. Taking the hands a little wider, maybe off your yoga mat for some space. Press into the tops of the feet. And as you inhale, lift the chest, lovely open-hearted cobra. Shoulders nice and soft. And as you exhale, let's lower down, hands underneath the shoulders. Lovely. Inhale back onto all fours. And as you exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. And again, have a little pedal, maybe a shake of the head. Just let the body kind of assimilate how that felt. We're going to do that on the opposite side. So shifting the weight into right foot, left leg leads this time, taking a little lift up, coming onto the ball of the underneath foot, take an inhale and exhale, step or help that left foot forwards. If it doesn't quite get there, drop the back knee and just help that foot forwards. Lovely. So again, we're going to hook one thumb on top of the other. Imagine pulling the thumbs apart. Inhale, so really feel a nice working through the upper back. And then release as you exhale. Change the hook of the thumbs all the way up. Inhale, so fingers spread nice and wide. It's called Spirit Eagle Mudra. Exhale, release. Separate the hands. What a name. Inhaling all the way up. Big circle back behind you as you exhale, opening up through the chest. Hands onto the low back, or again, we'll tug the knuckles down. Maybe lifting the gaze up towards the ceiling. Option to take the arms back a little way so you're feeling a nice stretch through the front of the shoulder. Let's take one more nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, we'll relax the arms and bring the hands down to frame that front foot. So remember, you can keep the back knee down or lifting it up, pressing out through the healer so you're pushing it into a wall behind you as you take that left arm up. So tuck that left hip in, make sure it's not popped out to the side. And then we'll relax the hand down towards the floor and then circle forwards and up as you inhale. Exhale as you circle back and down. You might be looking towards that left hand. You might keep the gaze towards the floor as we do it once more. Inhale. And this time as you exhale, we'll bring both hands down, frame the foot. And keeping the gaze forwards, keep your shoulders over your wrists now as you take that left leg back into plank, a little bit more mindful. Lovely. So press into the hands. If you've got to drop to your knees, feel free. If you can hold there just for a minute, building up a little bit of strength. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, we'll lower down. Remember, your knees can kiss the earth first. Beautiful. Hands wide or keeping them a little narrower this time. Press into the tops of the feet as you lift up through the chest, little baby cobra, elbows squeezed in. And exhale, will come all the way down. Beautiful. Inhaling onto all fours. And as you exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. And from your downward dog, we'll have a little walk now to the top of your mat. That's bringing your feet behind your wrists. And anyone who doesn't want to come to a forward fold today, you can just lift your chest, bring your hands onto the tops of your thighs, and just rest your elbows on the tops of your thighs there. If you're in that forward fold, bend your knees really generously. Let's take the sting out of the hamstrings and the lower back. If it feels nice, have a little cradle there. Opposite elbow, maybe a gentle sway, but remember you're trying to move from the waist rather than the arms pulling you. Beautiful. And then we'll all let go of the elbows and sliding the hands up the legs. Straightening the legs so you can bring your hands to your thighs, fingertips point towards the floor. And really lengthen out through the neck. So iron out any wrinkles at the back of your neck by taking the gaze slightly forwards and down. Loop the shoulders away from the ears, firm up through the belly. Option to keep your hands on your thighs or reach the arms back alongside you with the palms down. So your fingertips are reaching to the wall behind you. Lovely. Lovely one to build up a bit of strength. And then bend the knees as you sweep the arms all the way up towards the ceiling, rising to stand as you inhale. And as you exhale, sink the weight back into your heels, coming into a little chair pose. You can drop the arms. Inhale as you rise up to stand. And as you exhale, let's bring the arms all the way down alongside you. Lovely. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up. Exhale, take that lovely forward fold, bend the knees as generously as you need to, all the way down. Sliding the hands up the legs, so the hands find the tops of your thighs, fingertips point towards the floor, leg from the neck, firm up through the belly, nice flat back. Option to keep the hands there, especially if there are any back issues, or arms reach back. Lovely, so you're really trying to elongate through the spine there. Beautiful. And then bend the knees, inhale, sweep the arms all the way up, last time. And as you exhale, let's take that chair pose, so the arms might be reaching up, they might be out in front of your hands to heart, lovely. Inhale as you rise to stand, and exhale, let's bring the hands all the way down, mountain pose, lovely. It's going to adjust the screen slightly. So we're going to be moving our right leg first, so if you need to move yourself on your mat so you can see, oh, you still can't see me. I've done completely the wrong thing. That's it. Hopefully you'll see me now. That's it. Beautiful, beautiful. So finding that mountain pose, and feet underneath the hips. Let's bring the hands to the heart and really pull up through the belly. So you're lifting your chest to meet your thumbs. An elongation of your lower back as you imagine your tailbone lengthening down towards your heels. Beautiful. Soften the shoulders, relax the face. Here we go. Let's relax the hands, bend the knees. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up, press into the feet. Exhale will come all the way down into that fold. And this time, fingertips to floor, shins or thighs, so you can lift up just halfway as you inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to plant the hands and step straight back to plank pose. One leg and then the other. Keep the gaze forwards, lovely. Press into the hands, dome up through the back. And then we're going to bring the left knee, just the left knee down, underneath the hip. Right leg stretching away behind you on the ball of the foot. Have a little rock back and forth. Gently opening up some space in the back of that right leg. Beautiful. And then we'll lift that right leg level with the hip, toes down towards the floor. Option to stay there or opposite arm. So left arm reaching forwards, thumb up towards the ceiling. So just the leg or arm and leg. Take an inhale. Exhale, knee to chest, elbow to knee if you've got that arm extended. Inhale, extend arm and leg, look forwards. Exhale, squeeze it in, tiger, lovely. Inhale as you extend. Exhale to squeeze, lovely. Just once more, inhale. So we're looking forwards, upper arm alongside the ear. Exhale as you squeeze it in. And this time we'll keep arm and leg extended. Option to bring the hand down. If you can, we're going to bend the back knee, take the toes up towards the ceiling. Turn that left palm away from you, and you might be able to reach the arm back, catching hold of the top of the foot, and then pushing the foot into the hand, opening up through the chest. If that's not available, the hand comes down, and we just lift the toes up towards the ceiling, firming up through the belly so we're not overarching the back. Beautiful. If you're holding on to the foot, slowly, slowly release. We'll bring the hands down. Bring the knee down. If you need to give your wrists a little shake, feel free. And then we'll try that on the opposite side. So left leg slides back, all a foot to floor. And just press into the hands so you're not disappearing in your shoulders as you take a little rock back and forth, opening up the back of the knee. We're keeping the gaze forwards, neck nice and long. And then without dropping the hips, we'll try and lift that left leg. So keep the belly firmed up so you're not overarching through the back. Toes down towards the floor. And then if you wish, it's the right arm this time. We extend up arm alongside the ear. Take an inhale. And exhale, knee to chest, elbow to knee if you're extending the arm. Inhale, look forwards as you reach forwards and back. Exhale, everything squeezed to the midline. Lovely. And again, inhale. And exhale once more. Ooh, a bit of fire in the belly this morning. Glad I turned the heating off. Exhale. This time we'll extend arm and leg. Option to bring the hand down as you bend that back knee, or turn the right palm away from you. You might need to bend that knee, bring the heel in a little bit so you can catch hold around the top of the foot. And then push the foot into your hand, taking the gaze forward so we've got a nice hip stretch and a chest stretch. If that isn't for you, hand down, toes point up towards the ceiling. Beautiful, wherever you are, we'll slowly release, hand coming down, knee coming down, take an inhale. And as you exhale, take a child pose, slide the hips back towards the heels. Take a couple of settling breaths there. Ooh, and if the shoulders feel tight, you can always bend your elbows, almost making a little diamond shape with the arms there. And it just allows the shoulders and the upper back to have a little bit of a rest there. Lovely. And then when you're ready, just lifting the chest so you can walk your hands back towards your knees. And we're going to come into hero pose. Now, a hero pose sitting on your heels is really uncomfortable. You can pop a cushion between your bottom and your heels to take the pressure off your knees, or you can come to seated and stretch the legs out in front of you or sit cross-legged. Lovely. Now we can stay here, just take a couple of breaths, or just tuck your toes under. And again, return to that hero pose. So once again, we've got a little bit more stronger stretch for the feet. So make sure your little toes are enjoying that stretch as well. If that's too much, just sit in hero, gathering the breath. Lovely. If you're enjoying that foot stretch, we'll just take one more breath there. Ooh, it's a bit of a Marmite pose. I love it, but I suspect I might be alone in that. If you've got your toes tucked, bring the hands down so we can flatten the feet. And we'll come up to standing kneeling. Now again, if that's not for you, knees underneath your hips, stay seated. It's not a problem. Or take the arms out to the side and then wrapping your right arm on top of your left arm. I'm going to come to eagle arms. So if eagle arms with that double wrap doesn't work for you today, bring your hands onto your shoulders. If you're with that eagle, we've got the elbows away from the chest, shoulders away from the ears. We're going to take 3 breaths here. So as you inhale, maybe see if you can lift your elbows a little bit further, forwards and up. And as you exhale, try and keep them there as you hug belly button to spine. Lovely. Do that twice more. So inhale, expand and lift. And exhale, contract and firm up through the belly. Lovely. Just once more. Inhale. And exhale. Lovely. Let's release the arms. Take a big sweep all the way up. And as you exhale, bring the hands together at the heart, interlacing the hands, releasing the index finger like a little steeple, and reach both arms forwards, James Bond style. Lovely. So keeping the body in a nice long line here, we'll take an inhale. And as you exhale, take a little lean back. So we're working through the front of the thighs. That inhale, bring the body back, head over heart, heart over hips. Exhale, take a little lean back. So we're not dipping here, body stays in one nice long unit. Inhale. And exhale, lovely. We'll come all the way back through center, reach the arms out. And then this time, left arm wraps on top of right arm, coming into that eagle arm. Lovely. So again, if it's too much, you just rest your hands on your shoulders and get a nice stretch, almost imagining you want to pull your elbows away from you. If you're in that eagle with me, 3 nice breaths. As you inhale, we try and lift the elbows forwards and up without the shoulders coming up to the ears. And exhale, see if you can again get that contraction through the belly. Big breath in. And see if you can keep that height of the elbows as you exhale. Just once more, one side might feel much stiffer. This feels much tighter for me. Lovely. Let's take a big release of the arms. Take one more inhale as you reach the arms up. And this time as you exhale, we'll bring the hands all the way back behind you. Rest them on your lower back. Just open up through the chest. Press the hips gently forward. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then dropping the chin down towards your chest, we'll soften back down into a child pose. This time allowing the arms to fall alongside you. Palms up towards the ceiling. Turning the head to one side as you lengthen your fingertips back beyond your toes. So we're getting a nice release for the shoulders after that eagle arm. If you've got your head turned to one side, just quietly and calmly turn it the opposite way. Take a couple of breaths there, balancing things out. Lovely. And then we'll bring the forehead to the floor, reaching the arms forwards. Coming back onto all fours as you inhale. And as you exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Taking that little walk forwards, feet coming towards your hands at the top of your mat. Bend your knees generously. And as you inhale, rise up to stand slowly, slowly. You can keep the arms down alongside you if you get a horrible head rush, if not all the way up. And exhale, we'll bring the hands down to the heart. So once more, we're at the top of the mat. Let's relax the arms down alongside you. A little bit of a balance challenge now. So if you're feeling wibbly wobbly, as we take the arms up, you might just want to lift your heel rather than lifting your knee. The choice is yours. Have a little play with that today, see how that feels. But finding that nice, I'm on a wobbly floorboard, that's not going to be very good for balance. So finding a nice upright mountain posture again, tailbone lengthening down, breastbone lifting up. We're going to reach both arms up and lifting up your right heel. Option to stay there or lift the right knee, bringing it up level with the hip, flexing the foot or point the toe, and then release, coming all the way down, lowering foot, lowering arms. Other side, so just lift the heel as you take the arms up, left heel. And then if that feels steady and stable, lifting the knee level with the hip, you can point the toe, flex the foot, whatever works for you. And then release. Let's see if we can add the breath. Right knee or heel lifts as you inhale. And as you exhale, let's lower the arms, bringing both feet down to the earth. Lovely. Other side, left knee or just the heel lifts. Inhaling up nice and tall through the spine. Exhale, lovely. We're going to add on this next time. Right knee lifts. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to bring the left hand to your right knee and take that right arm back behind you, level with the shoulder. Pause there. Option to slowly take your gaze over that back arm. Wibble, wobble, wibble, wobble. Lovely, let's come back to center. Arms lift, chest to center. Exhale as you bring the foot to the floor and both arms down. Other side, so you can always just lift the heel or knee comes up. And then as you exhale, right hand to left knee, other arm circles back, thumb up towards the ceiling. Option to keep the gaze forwards. So if you're feeling a little bit more steady in the balance, slowly, slowly look back. Lovely, and then when you're ready to breathe in, reach the arms up. Lower the foot, and this time as you exhale, we're going to come all the way down into our forward fold. Inhale as you lift the chest, and as you exhale, we're going to step back into our downward facing dog. From your downward dog, right leg lifts, take an inhale, and as you exhale, we're going to step your right foot forwards and drop the back knee. Beautiful. So you can keep the toes tucked, you can flatten the foot, choice is yours. Inhale, reach the arms up. This time as you exhale, we'll take a twist to the left, right arm reaching forward, left arm reaching back. So kind of just like what we've done, opening up through the chest. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, twist to the right, left arm forwards, right arm back. Reaching out nice and long, called sun and moon pose, lovely. Bring the hands together at the heart. Shift the weight forward so you can hook left elbow over right thigh. Fingertips point forwards, top elbow up towards the ceiling. And we're trying to lift away from that front thigh. So a little pressing down into that underneath elbow. Option to stay there or take the gaze down for stability and maybe lift the back knee. Choice is yours. Yogi's choice. Lovely. Beautiful. Take one more breath wherever you are. And then we'll lower the back knee. Bring the hands down to frame that front foot. Take an inhale as you look forwards, lift the chest. And as you exhale, we'll shift the hips back, maybe lifting the toes towards the face, little hamstring stretch. Roll onto the sole of that front foot, look forwards, inhale. Exhale as you shift the hips back. So it might be a generous bend in that front knee with the foot to the floor. You might lift the toes. One more time, inhale, rock forwards. And this time as you exhale, we'll pause in that hamstring stretch. So if the hamstring's super tight, keep the foot on the floor and a nice bend in the knee. If hamstrings feel okay and they're enjoying that stretch, press that front heel down a little bit more firmly. Toes towards the face. Allow the body to melt forwards and just bring your hips back to the middle. My bottom always kind of swings over to one side. Beautiful. Ooh, hello hamstrings. And then when you're ready, we'll look forward so we can roll forwards, planting the foot. We'll bring the hands down, tuck the back toes under, lift the knee, and we'll step back into downward facing dog. If you've had enough, have a little rest, take a child pose, join us when you're ready. We're going to take the other side now. So left leg lifts as you inhale. Exhale, step or help it forwards, top of the mat. And we'll drop the back knee. You can keep the toes tucked, you can flatten them, whatever works for you. Ready for that little twist. So inhale, we'll reach the arms up. And then we start by twisting to the right. So left arm forwards, right arm back. Lovely. Inhale, come to center. And then we're going to take that to the opposite way. So right arm forwards, left arm back. Sun and moon pose. Arms reaching out nice and long. Keep the body kind of where it is as you bring the hands together at your heart. And then we'll shift the weight forwards. Right elbow over left thigh. Fingertips point towards the top of the mat. Left elbow points up towards the ceiling. You can look up. You can stay there lifting your heart towards your thumbs, or look down and carefully pick up your back knee. That's a strong balance pose, so feel free to keep the knee down, guys, today. Lovely. Seeing if you can take one more full round of breath here. Beautiful. And then we'll all lower that back knee. Bring the hands down to frame the front foot. Again, what you do with that back foot is up to you. You can keep the toes tucked, you can flatten the foot, take an inhale. Exhale, slow slide of the hips back into that little hamstring stretch. You can lift the toes if you wish. And then inhale, we'll rock forwards. Seeing if you can keep your chest open, gaze forwards. And then exhale, sliding the hips back. Lovely. So this next one will pause and hold. So if hamstrings are really tight and you want to keep moving with your breath, feel free. If not, this next one will pause and hold. Again, you can always keep the foot on the floor, the knee bent, or maybe slide that front heel a little bit further away, pressing it down into the mat, and allow the body to just fold forwards a little bit. Again, making sure your bottom hasn't swung over to the right side of your mat there. One side might feel very different to the other. Oh, I know this side is very tight. My goodness me. Oh, lovely. And then slowly we'll look forwards. We'll plant that left foot down, bring both hands to the inside of the front foot. So this time we can just step back to all fours, bringing your big toes towards one another, widening your knees, and we'll take a hare pose or wide knee child pose, either supporting your forehead. I really like to stack my hands here, elbows nice and wide, and rest my head on my hands. If you want to stretch the arms out, feel free. You might want to kind of have a little wobble of your hips, nestling your bottom between your heels, and just allow a couple of settling breaths there. And the heart melting down towards the floor. That's why I like this one with the elbows nice and wide. I get a little bit of it's a tiny, tiny back bend as your heart drops. Lovely. And then when you're ready, we'll slowly lift the chest. Walking the hands back towards you, we'll draw the knees together so you can pop your bottom to one side and swing the legs around in front of you. Giving the knees a little bounce if that feels nice there. Lovely. So making sure you're right on top of your sit bones. You might need to have to slide the flesh of your buttocks slightly out to the side. Nature's natural padding, as my yoga teacher calls it. Pop a generous bend in your knees if you need to. We take a nice breath in as you rise up with the arms. And as you exhale and take that forward fold, so allowing the hands to fall wherever they land today. So it might be by your thighs, might be by your shins. Some of you might find your feet. Lovely forward folds. So whatever's going on in the hamstrings today, honour that by bending your knees if you need to. And you certainly don't want to be straining those. Easy with the breath now. And then we'll slowly roll our way back up. We'll bring that right knee in towards you. And you can either keep your foot on the floor, you can cross it over your left leg, you can lean into your left buttock and hook that left leg round so you're sitting in that full twist. So if that doesn't work for you, stretch out the underneath leg. Lovely. So left elbow gives that right knee a little squeeze. And then we take a twist round to the right, bringing that right knee in towards your chest, other hand just behind either your right hip, or some of you might be able to walk that hand all the way round towards your left hip, opening up through the shoulders. Lovely. So most important thing is a nice length through the spine and an evenness of weight across your sit bones, so you've not lifted up through that right bottom. Nice and tall, easy with the breath. You might even want to just close your eyes here. Lovely. And then slowly, slowly, just as we did before, we'll bring the head back to center. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, we'll take an open twist around to the left. So feel the difference there. Lots of space for the belly, lots of space for the chest. Lovely, coming back to center. Just lean into your hands, especially if you've got both legs crossed, so you can, with flair and finesse, give the legs a little shake. And then we'll slide left heel in, option to keep it on the inside, step it over to the outside, or hook the right heel around, so you're almost sitting between your heels there, but make some space for that left buttock so you can feel nice and balanced across your sit bones. Right hand or right elbow brings the knee in towards the chest. And then we take that little twist around to the left. So left hand might be behind your left hip, or some of you might be able to walk it towards your right hip, depending how open you are in your chest. Woo. And those of you who do yoga with Adrienne will see she's got a new sequence out today. I'm going to do that later on. That's my afternoon treat. That will fill me with delight and joy. That's something to look forward to. Nice, easy breaths there. Lovely. And then we'll bring the gaze back to center and then take a little open twist. So as you turn around the opposite way, we're just kind of unraveling, decompressing the spine there. Lots of space as you turn to the right. Lovely. So we'll come back to center, bring the hands behind you so you can again give the legs a little bounce. And then we'll plant the feet down onto the floor. Knees bent up towards the ceiling. Ease your way down onto your back. And when you get there, just bring your heels in a little closer towards your sitting bones. Not so close that your bottom is lifted, but you don't want your heels a long way away from you. That will strain our back. So have a little lengthen of your fingertips down towards your heels. Feel nice and open through the chest. Coming into a little shoulder bridge flow. So pressing into your feet, take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's ripple up with the hips. Pressing into the bound of the big toe so the knees stay forwards. And when you've reached the height that works for you, we'll take an inhale. And then exhale, begin that descent all the way down, lengthening, lengthening, lengthening through the spine. We'll do that twice more. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, pressing into the feet, lift the hips up, 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 making sure the knees don't roll out to the side by really pressing into the big toe. Maybe coming up a little bit higher this time as you inhale. And then exhale, rolling your way down. Really try and feel your way into each little area of your spine as you come down. We'll do that one more. Take an inhale. And this time as you exhale, we're going to pause and hold at the top. So the hips might be quite low today. Those of you, again, a little bit more open, might just move your head up the mat and even interlace your hands underneath you. So you're bringing your chest towards your chin and bringing the hips up a little higher. If that's too strong today, feel free to come down whenever you wish. Let's see if we can hold just for a couple more breaths. Really good to strengthen up through the back seam of the body, or that back chain of muscles. Lovely. And then we'll bring the arms alongside you. If you want to lift your heels and roll your way down, feel free. If not, keep the feet flat to the floor as we all Bring the spine down very gently and then just let everything settle. Drop the heels. Bring the back down. And then give the knees a squeeze. Bring them in towards the chest. And have a little massage, whatever feels nice. Sometimes a rock, sometimes a little circle. Knees might be working in opposite directions like a breaststroke, legs, or staying together. Beautiful. And then from there, if you need to do anything else, if you need to shoot off, feel free. Thank you so much for coming. If you want to have another little twist, feel free. And then see if you can just bring the body back into whatever position now feels comfortable, just for a couple of minutes of quietness and calmness. Time for the body to kind of assimilate, digest the effects of the practice. So if you want to support your low back, feet stay wide, knees knock together. You can extend the legs up nice and long. Whatever works for you this morning. Popping on a jumper, blanket if you're in a cooler room. And as you close your eyes once more, seek that connection with your breath. Let's remind ourselves of where we began. Every day I see or hear something that more or less kills me with delight. So just as we did at the beginning, can we seal our practice by reconnecting with that sense of delight, joy, something very childlike about it. Unconditional joy or delight in something ordinary, common, very drab, the daily presentations. All sorts of studies that show us that connecting almost with that sense of gratitude with the world around us for what we have can have all sorts of positive benefits. Not just our mental, but our physical health as well. It's quite extraordinary. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to find those moments of joy and delight, particularly at the moment, and yet they're still there. We have to be open to them. We have to remind ourselves of them. And the days perhaps seem a little darker. So allowing that feeling of joy and delight just again to suffuse you as you drop into the pace and rhythm of your breath now, just letting the breath soothe you. Releasing whatever that's superfluous to need as you exhale. And the inhale, an opportunity to re-energize, refuel, ready for a new week. So we'll take just a few more rounds of breath here. You're really relishing just having a few more moments to yourself. Feel free to just stay where you are. I'll end the class and you can stay in Shavasana for as long as you wish. If you're ready to face the rest of this day, hopefully feeling a little bit more stretched, ready to seek out some more pockets of joy and delight in this day. Start to deepen and lengthen your breath when you're ready. Adding a little bit of movement to your fingers, your toes, maybe a roll across the back of your head there. Keep it nice and gentle. And then you might want to return to that full body stretch that we did right at the beginning. And if you do, just notice how maybe that feels different at the end of a practice than it does at the beginning of a practice. Maybe there's more space and length available in the body. Before slowly bringing your arms down, heels in towards you, and then your knees in towards your chest there. Opportunity to release any tension in your lower back with a little bit of movement, or just linger in stillness. And then where there's space to the right or the left of you, just roll into that space now. Your knees up towards your chest. And then coming up to join me when you're ready in a comfortable seated position. Yoga fills us with joy and delight, doesn't it? That's normally something we enjoy. It does me anyway. So from that seated position, let's take one last deep breath in together, sweeping the arms all the way up, bringing your palms to touch. And as you exhale, bring the hands to the heart. I thank you for filling me with joy and delight, as you always do. And our yoga practice is together, so namaste. Thank you. Thank you. Go and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And thank you for joining me as usual. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen.
Thank you.